Hi, my name is Jamin Goecker. I'm a realtor in South Central Alaska, and my mission is to help you to build an intentional and significant legacy by coaching you in real estate. And today I'm going to be answering really a couple questions. Number one is going to be, is it expensive to live in Alaska? I'm going to say it is above the national average. Okay, it's not nearly as expensive as it is in some places, but it's expensive. And I'm going to be answering, secondly, the more important follow-up question, which is, how do you save money in Alaska? So that's what we're going to be talking about. How do Alaskans kind of make ends meet when we're up here? I got some great tips for you. Before we get started though, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and by all means, make sure if you have any questions, post those in the comment section down below. Now without further ado, let's get into it. Item number one for how to save money in Alaska is really looking into doing some subsistence activities. And that's a fun way of saying you need to be looking at hunting, fishing, berry picking, growing stuff in your backyard. There's a lot of ways you can get food without necessarily having to go to the store every single time. Plus, it's a lot funner if you have to go hunting or fishing for those items, for those foods. So definitely check that out. Subsistence activities. It definitely does fill up your fridge, and it's a little easier in your pocketbook if you're not spending a ton of money on gear and everything that you need to make it happen. So if you're trying to do it just to save money, you kind of have to be a little bit more budget conscious on the gear that you're going to be getting. Sorry, husbands, I'm going to call you out a little bit. Number two, if you have a wood stove, definitely utilize that thing as best you can, as opposed to just cranking up the thermostat. So if you have it, great. If not, take a look at getting one. Wood is typically going to be a little bit cheaper than what you're going to find for gas, and if you're on a property that's got wood anyway, aside from just having to do a little bit of extra work, it's really not going to cost you anything extra. So check it out. Number three, instead of just cranking the heat on the thermostat, which at this point, are you getting the feeling most of my tips are going to be ways on how to keep your utility bill down? That should be an indication of where the places are you can save. But instead of doing that, just put on some more layers of clothing. Okay, go get some sweatshirts, go get a coat, get a parka, do whatever you got to do to just keep warm inside the house without having to necessarily turn the thermostat up even higher. Number four, make sure that you get an Alaska Airlines credit card. And what that's going to do is you can start paying a lot of your stuff on there, and then you can just go and use the miles on that to help you, maybe once a year or so, fly down to the lower 48 or fly some other people up here to see you. Because this is Alaska and it's a little bit more remote and off the beaten path, it takes a lot more intentionality to really just go anywhere. So having that in your back pocket is going to be really helpful. I will say, make sure you pay that credit card. You know what? I'm going to do it this way. Make sure you pay that credit card every week, okay? Don't want you to get into trouble because you're not paying it on time. So you make sure you pay it every week or you're going to get into trouble. Let's take a quick break from today's video. Did you know I am going to be starting a podcast in January of 2021? Well, you do now. The purpose of the podcast is we're going to be answering the questions for all of you who are thinking about answering the call and moving to Alaska. We're also going to be interviewing Alaskans. These are the authentic people who actually live up here and what their stories and experiences have been living on the last frontier. It's a project I've really been looking forward to a long time. It's not something that's quite as conducive on YouTube, so I'm looking forward to creating the podcast and just giving you a slice of what it's like living up here in Alaska from the people who actually live up here. Now, without further ado, let's go and jump back into today's video. Number five for how Alaskans save money is simply being really intentional with their PFD. For those of you who don't know, PFD stands for Permanent Fund Dividend. It's essentially a paycheck you get every year from the state that comes from the revenue from the oil field further up north. So that's great. Usually, I mean, lately it's been around $900, $1,200, somewhere around there. So it's not crazy money, but it's also a nice little bonus if you use it right. And instead of just going out and buying a ton of consumer goods, instead take that PFD money and put it into some kind of investment. Okay, might be real estate. Depending on the size of your family, you might not be able to use it for real estate. I don't know, kind of depends. And then also, I mean, there's just a number of accounts and a lot of creative ways you can put that money to use. So make sure that you're being really intentional with your PFD money. Number 6 for the ways that people save money is getting themselves on the Roadkill list. You heard me right, your ears are working just fine. There's actually a list up here in Alaska where if you're in town, somebody hits a moose, they've got this big animal that's sitting there and it's out of its misery at that point. The city needs some people to come get it out of the way. And if they can just have some citizens that are going to show up, grab it, get it out of there, the city is all in favor of that. So you can get yourself on a list where somebody hits something, they give you a call, and you're over there, and essentially you get to process and keep most of a moose. So that's pretty awesome. But some pretty good stipulations there. Number 1, understand the city pretty much owns you at that point if you want to stay on this list. All hours of the day, they can call you at 3 in the morning and say, yo, we've got a moose, come pick it up. And if you're not there and you don't come through, then you're off the list. It's pretty much that simple. Not a whole lot of margin for error there. So if you're wanting to do that, make sure you've also got the capability to get it done, both on the time and on your equipment. You're not going to be able to just show up in my Toyota Corolla and be able to drag away a moose. Okay, you're going to need a place to dress it, and you're going to need to dress it, process it, and a way to just basically transport it over. So, great option if you've got the setup for it. And number 7 for ways that people save money in Alaska is they buy instead of renting where they live. Obviously, you knew I was going to put this in here. Don't get upset. Even better than buying is actually buying a rental property like a duplex, triplex, fourplex, something like that, and then renting out the other units. So essentially your tenants are going to be paying the mortgage for you. That's the best way to do it. If you want to talk about how to do it, I would be just fine doing that with you. I sure hope this has been useful for you. If it has, make sure that you leave any questions you have in the comment section down below, or any aha moments. And also, if you're wanting to reach out to me directly, make sure you do so through my Facebook page. The link for that's going to be down below. I do my best to get to as many comments as I can, but a message that comes directly through to me on Facebook is going to get some kind of a response pretty quickly. So that's going to be the best way if you're wanting to just check out Alaska and see what it looks like. Make sure you check out my new Instagram account. That is going to be in the link in the description as well. So go check it out. It's essentially the past couple of years is what I'm putting on there, kind of slowly, little by little, of just photos and videos I've taken of the past couple of years, whether that's summer, winter, or not. That's just going to show you what Alaska looks like. So make sure you take advantage of that. And as always, if you have questions, make sure that you reach out to me. And if you're ready to start looking for homes in this area, make sure you check out the app, the video of which is going to be coming right after this. Downloading my app is pretty simple. You simply scroll to the description section of my videos, click on the link there. It's going to take you to my website. From there, scroll down, hit download app. It'll take you to a place where you enter in your phone number. Enter that in, click send link. It's going to text you a link to the App Store. And from there, you'll have to click on that, enter in your email address, and then it's going to register you to the app, and you'll be able to start modifying your search. You can modify number of bedrooms, bathrooms, property type.
You have a lot of modifications you can do on there, or just draw a shape to it. From there, you'll have the ability to go and just browse through, create your own specific saved searches on there that's going to make sense for you. Go ahead and add notes just so it makes sense. And that's going to be kind of the basic search capabilities. There are a lot of extra bonuses and things to this that make it really beneficial, like walking you through the entire process as a buyer or seller and giving you all the details that's involved with each one of those steps. So never at any point are you going to be lost in the process. So we've kind of just scratched the surface here, but that's just to get you started.